Do you fancy a fun catch-up with repeat guest Lise Bauer? Of course you do. In this episode, we find out what has changed with Lisa's relationship with her fabric stash, and we both make confessions regarding recent fabric purchases. Lisa also makes a strong case for attending a Frocktails event and suggests a different way to engage with social media. So stick around a few minutes for that. Welcome to Check Your Thread, the podcast that will help you sew more sustainably. My name's Zoe and I'm obsessed with sewing. I've been blogging about it for over 17 years and I'm the creator and host of the popular handmade wardrobe challenge, Me Made May. But, like many people, I've become increasingly concerned about the climate and ecological crises, and I'm looking at the way that my lifestyle contributes to them. So in this podcast, I'll be nerding out about making clothes whilst exploring how to minimise the negative impact that it may have. And I really hope you join me in this journey. Hi lovely, are you doing okay? Happy spring or autumn to you. Have you had any sustainability wins lately? So I had a sustainability combined with parenting win this week just past that I shared on Instagram. So as I've mentioned plenty of times before on this podcast, for obvious reasons, I can't stand cheap, virtually disposable dress-up costumes for kids. But when it's time for one or both of my kids to get dressed up, and this week just gone it was World Book Day, I find it super stressful putting together an outfit from reclaimed materials or things we already own. But this year something awesome happened. My big kid, who is now 12 and who is super crafty and loves making masks and stuff, agreed to me commissioning them to make my small kids' World Book Day costume as well as their own. I literally just had to buy a bedsheet from a charity shop and give them 20 quid. And remind them a few times. And they made 2 awesome costumes with no other involvement from me. I'm going to put a picture in the show notes of the costumes they made. I'm so proud of them. This week, I want to say huge thanks to Katie and Jay for signing up to support the podcast via Patreon over the last week. I could not do this work without the financial and sometimes the emotional support of amazing patrons. So if you were interested in helping me make this podcast happen, there's also a really lovely, creative and supportive community attached that is just, I promise, the best place on the internet. There's some inspiring and supportive community chat spaces, which are just like little forums. And there's the online and in real life meetups, all of which you can enjoy or completely avoid, whichever you prefer. So remember, you can sign up for literally any amount that makes sense to you. So please head to patreon.com/checkyourthread to sign up. It takes less than 3 minutes to do so, I promise. So let's get on with the episode. It's Lise Bauer. It's one for the diehard fans. You know she's awesome. You know she's super insightful. You know she's chaotic. And you know she's hilarious. I also need to mention that Lisa drops a couple of minor swearsies in this conversation. So keep that in mind if you're listening with younger kids, perhaps. So until next week, when we'll be discussing sewing clothes with body fluctuations in mind. Yes, a topic we need to come back to. Take care of yourself, take care of those close to you, and take care of those who deserve it. If you have any kids, consider commissioning or paying them to do something you don't want to do. And enjoy.
Okay, how do I get back to the other screen now without hanging up? There.
Okay, cool. So we are going to be talking about, initially, we need to talk about Last Sew is Standing. So let's just crack on because as we're recording, 2nd of March, it's on. So I must apologise that I've had a lot on my plate lately and I have not been on social media as much as usual. So apologies, I missed a lot of the run-up stuff and I subsequently failed to announce on the podcast that it was going to happen. But hopefully everyone was following you on Instagram already, so they've seen the announcements themselves. So if they wanted to have signed up, they already have. But also, like, if you just haven't bought any fabric since the 1st of March, you're still in, really, aren't you?
So first of all, I hear you on the not being on social media so much. I haven't been on that much myself. And yeah, you didn't miss much. There was not much of a run up this year at all, actually.
I know that I did miss at least one post, so apologies for that. But so we talked very thoroughly about Last Sew is Standing in episodes 118 and 189. And spookily enough, this is going to be 218. So
Ooh.
It's all the 8s. So I'm going to put links to those 2 episodes in the show notes so we don't have to massively get into it. But very broad brushstrokes, could you please briefly explain what Last Sewer Standing is?
Yes. So last so is standing is in a nutshell a no buy challenge. Those that are in the challenge are not to buy fabric or other sewing related items, materials. It starts always around the 1st of March. This year it is officially starting on the 1st of March, but because the announcement post was very late, the sign up post, I literally posted it a day before the challenge started. I'm giving people 2 weeks to sign up.
Nice. Okay, so this episode's going to drop next week. So even if someone did accidentally buy a bit of fabric because they didn't realize about it, that's fine. Yeah.
Exactly. Or you just signed up, but you're like, I really need elastic, but actually I want to be in heavyweight. It's just better for me to be in that category. This would be the time. We're basically, just gonna, you know, start easy and not exactly see who's doing what in the first 2 weeks.
Yeah,
And
we're
then
basically we've got a bit of a blind eye going on for the first couple of weeks. So it's still on. Anyone that wants to be involved, it can happen. It's all good. So can you just explain a little bit about, because you just mentioned categories there, could you just please briefly explain what that's about?
yes, so we have different race divisions or challenge divisions. It's not technically a race. And so the first one is the heavyweight category or division. If you enter in that category, you are not allowed to buy any fabric, any sewing materials, such as, haberdashery items or notions. You're only allowed to buy thread and needles, basically. You can also choose to start or run in the lightweight category. In that category, you're not allowed to buy any fabric, but you can buy anything else that you might need for your project, even fabric that's technically garment fabric, but you're not using it as your main fabric, such as lining fabric, ribbing, things like that.
Amazing. Awesome. So are you yourself participating in Last Sewer Standing this year?
Well, I kind of have to. I mean, you see my stash, right?
Yeah, you do. So what are you, do you have some goals?
Um, my goal this year is definitely to stay in until the end in lightweight category. I'm starting in heavyweight though. So just to add on to the category stuff, there's also a third division. Sorry, I don't want to be all like school teacher here, but just to get it all like
no,
covered.
completely. It's very important. Yes.
So there's also the independent category. So if you either come late to the challenge, so after the 2 week, we didn't see nothing, period. If you arrive late, join in the independent category and, you can choose then, do I want to follow the heavyweight rules or the lightweight rules? But it's basically for latecomers, but it's also for anyone that wants to participate, but they don't really like the constraints of the heavyweight or the lightweight category. They want to tweak it a bit. They maybe want some exceptions to the rules, etc. So it's basically the do your own thing category, but I still want to be part of, the whole excitement of like participating in the challenge. Just lastly, and this is something I didn't get into the caption. So the sign up post on Instagram has all these rules written out if you want to check back and, look at that or go there to sign up. But there's a caption limit, the character limit. So I can never get all the rules in there. So what's not in there, and I really need to like put that in the stories or something or make a separate post, is you can switch between categories. So you can start out in the heavyweight category, see how long you can go without buying anything sewing related. And then when you need a pattern or elastic or whatever, then you can drop down into the lightweight category. And then you keep going, keep going, keep going. And then at some point, I don't know, something happens. Your horse stumbles, you accidentally bought some fabric.
You go on holiday and you fell into a fabric shop, yeah.
We all know things can happen. You can come back and like re-enter in the independent category.
Nice.
So I also want to encourage people to maybe start in a higher category than you anticipate than you can make it in, because you can always drop down.
Yeah, see how far you go.
Yeah.
I love it. So your plan is to stay in heavyweight for as long as possible, but with the idea that probably lightweight's going to happen before long. Can you predict what it's going to be that's going to drop you into lightweight?
Oh, probably elastic. I'm always going on and on about the elastic, and that's because I use a lot of it, and I don't shop that in advance anymore.
Right, interesting. I kind of feel like you probably, I mean, I've seen your fabric stash. We've all seen your fabric stash. So you don't have loads of different elastic sizes. But also, I think that makes sense because, like, I don't think that's a very sustainable thing, is it? Just to have, like, on the off chance that I will need elastic, I'm going to have, like, a box of every type of elastic that you could have.
I mean, look, I hate to disappoint, but you're not going to be surprised. I probably have like 3 boxes of elastic. I have a lot of elastic, but I never have the right elastic in the end, anyways, or I use one type way more than I use the others. And I have way too much haberdashery items as it is, but I don't make those same mistakes anymore because there's no point in stocking that. You're never going to have the right thing, anyways, if
This
you're
is
like
so
me and it needs to
interesting.
be perfect, you know.
This is the thing. This is what I was kind of like angling towards because I think we do have to acknowledge that there is a level of perfectionism that you have that maybe some other people would be like, do you know what? I'm going to make do. Okay, probably I would have preferred black elastic, but I'll use the white. Or this is like 4 centimeter elastic. The pattern called for 5 centimeters, but I'm going to change it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I know what you're like.
I mean, I'm more likely to say the pattern calls for 4, but I actually want 5.
Right.
And I
So it's
have
more
the
like your
4, but
preferences.
I'm gonna, yeah. And I just feel like this is not sustainable if you're gonna like buy haberdashery as well in advance. And of course, it would benefit anyone to be a little bit more flexible there. But you just have to know your own sewing style and know your own constraints and how much you actually do want to change those habits. And yeah, for me, the solution is I buy the haberdashery items when I need them. I used to prepare for the challenge. So in the run up, I was like, okay, I'll get some interfacing, I'll get some elastic, and then I don't have to drop down to lightweight as soon as I, otherwise would have to. But I don't do that anymore because then my sewing plans change and I end up needing a different haberdashery item and not that interfacing or elastic. So yeah, now I buy, of course, when I do buy those often used things such as interfacing, I don't buy just what I need for that project. Because, yeah, I'm not going to buy just 25 centimeters of interfacing. Then I get a meter or two, but I also don't get 10. You know what I'm saying?
Well done. I was thinking like, oh, is she going to buy 10 meters? Okay, great. Cool. So in terms of your fabric goals for this year, do you have like in your mind, like an amount you'd like to use up or, what is the plan with the fabric? What is the hope?
So my general goal is to sew more this year. I didn't have a very productive year last year, and it's fine. I'm happy with the stuff I made. I like to take it slow and do it nicely and have something nice and not rushed in the end. And sometimes my life doesn't allow me that much sewing time. So I'm happy with what I made, but I also would like to make more this year because I enjoy sewing and I would like to do more of it. And I also want more things. And so, yeah. My goal is to make more, and I'm not going to put a number on that or like a specific expectation in like how many meters. My goal is to not buy any fabric whatsoever until the end of the year. I just reorganized some of my fabric, and it once again showed me I should never ever be allowed to buy fabric again.
But did you fall back in love with some of the bits when you were kind of sorting through it?
Yes, and something new happened. So last time we talked and the time before, I was like, I love my stash. I love all of it. I don't want to part with any of it. And now I'm like, you know what? Like, I don't know, a good 25 to maybe 30% can actually go.
This is new.
Yeah.
What changed?
I don't know. First of all, it's too much. I'm slowly getting. I don't have stash overwhelming. That's one of my problems, right? But I'm slowly seeing the point everybody else has made that it may be a lot. And there are some kiddie prints, like Disney prints and stuff in there. And I always thought, like, I'll keep them. We'll make PJs out of them. You're never too old for like a Disney print PJ. But now I'm like, yeah, it's a lot. I don't need that many rainbow and unicorn fabrics. Like, a good amount of that can just go and like be free space on the
Yeah.
shelves.
And somebody else will love it.
Yeah, exactly.
So what are you planning? Are you planning a de-stash? Are you going to go to a fabric swap? Are you going to sell some stuff? What are you thinking?
I want to give it away to someone who will just take it all. So I have zero effort involved, and someone will just be like, yes, I just like scored so much fabric for my like kids. I need to find someone who likes to sew for their kids in the correct age bracket, basically.
Right. So how are you going to do that? Are you going on like Facebook Marketplace, or what are you doing?
No, you know me, least effort. So yeah, no, definitely not doing that. Definitely not like listing everything separately.
No, but in like, where are you going to? How are you going to find that person to come and take
I'll
it
probably
away?
start by asking in my like actual social network here locally, moms that I know that sew. And then I'm going to ask them to ask their friends. So that's usually the first go to for me. Like, even just like typing something, that's work. So I'll just call a friend first.
You
and
are
then
so funny.
maybe I'll do like a story post and see if anyone from Switzerland sees it. But my Instagram sort of world is a lot more international. I'm not willing to ship this. I don't think anyone is willing to pay for shipment, so it
Yeah.
should be someone local. So I'll probably, go that route and see if anyone snatches it up.
Amazing. Oh my God, somebody's going to be so lucky.
I have a kid that I know that sews. But she's like 9, 10. So I don't know if some of these jerseys may be too juvenile for them. But some of them that are more rainbows than like, I don't know, Frozen
Moana,
print.
yeah.
Yeah, exactly. She might still take some of those. So I'll make an exception for her if she wants to pick through it.
Oh, that's lovely. That's so nice. Yeah. Paying it forward to the next generation.
Exactly. And so, like I said, my goal is no new fabric at all until the end year for sure. But one caveat, and this brings me back to the rules. We have a new rule. It's hidden in the captions. Some people saw it. Nobody has given me shit for it yet, but I'm like waiting for it. So there's a new rule, and oh my God.
You were so funny. You're so funny. Your face is so funny.
Have you seen it? Because I'm like waiting for your reaction.
No, I haven't read it. I haven't read it. As I say, I haven't had time for Instagram recently, but yeah, tell me.
Okay, there's a new rule because there are some things happening in my life that I do not have the right fabric for, and that is frocktails.
Wow. Okay.
I went to 2 frocktails last year. I'm going to Munich frocktails in 10 days. I'm leaving in 10 days. The event is in almost 2 weeks. By the way, last tickets up for sale right now.
We'll get back to Frocktails in a minute. I want to hear what's this naughty rule.
Well, it all ties together. Actually, by the time this airs, the ticket sale will be done. So you're too late if you're hearing this. But there may be other frocktails near you. And then, as you know, I am organizing one in Switzerland with some lovely Swiss sewists. And that's the one thing I don't have in my stash. Frocktails fabric. Fabric that is like, for me, something that I want to sew for an event like that.
Does it have to specifically be frocktails you're allowed to get fabric for? Or can it be a special event? Or does it have to be something sewing related? What is the rule? Tell me the actual wording.
The actual wording is just limited to frocktails.
This is so you. This is so naughty. You've made yourself your own caveat. You are very naughty. I love it.
Normal, participants, if they would have wanted to include this rule, this would have been something for the independent category. It's actually a great idea, an example of that. You want your own exception. You're like, I'm not allowed to buy fabric except for this one thing. Mm-hmm. And I was going to do that, just be an independent myself. But then I was like, you know what? A lot of people may be in this. Exactly. My challenge, my rules. And I've had a lot of zero negative feedback so far and a lot of positive feedback where people who are like, that was going to be the reason I'm an independent. Anyways.
Oh, the justification is incredible. I love it. I'm obsessed. Okay.
So that's happening. And yeah, you could say this defeats the purpose of the challenge completely. This is just cheating, but this is happening.
No, it's happening. We're all on board. It's fine. It's you. You can do what you want.
I have to say, you could, broadly speaking, say, well, couldn't this count for other events? What if, you're getting married?
Only Frocktails.
Technically, according to the rules, yes, but you can petition management if you want to sew your own wedding dress, because I have heard that management has already given out permission to at least one participant to sew their own wedding dress using the Frogtails rule.
Okay.
So technically, according to the rule, this is just Frogtails, because honestly, I do not feel like putting together a whole rule of which kind of events does this include and which kind of events does this exclude. So if you have any questions, message management and see if you can bend your event to a Frogtails rule allowance. But yes, otherwise it's just Frogtails. Yeah, or going to independent, exactly.
I love it. Okay. Do you want to ask me about my participation in Lasso Standing?
I was just now thinking, have you signed up? Do I know this? Because honestly, the signups have been coming in so fast. I don't even know who's in yet. So, are you in?
Well, I wasn't. And then I was having a message with a lovely patron, Chloe, on Instagram. And Chloe was saying that they're going to be in it and asked me, and I was like, yes! It was literally, it was just that spontaneous. It was like, yes!
Did you accidentally say yes?
Yes, I haven't signed up yet.
Love it.
I guess this is kind of part of a broader conversation that I think we should have about our fabric consumption over the past year. So over the past year, I have bought fabric and I have not felt bad about it in any way because it has been all items that I adore, items that I can see what they're going to be, and I've bought the right amount, ish.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all been in service of creating my new look, my French girl chic look, that is the style shift that I had that I talked about in episode 207, which was Style Shifts and Sustainability with Lindsay Ashworth-Fraser. So I didn't feel guilty because I could see what each of those pieces were going to be and how it was going to work into my new look.
Love it.
And so I just thought, well, so I was literally like, well, I'm not going to participate in Lasso Standing because I'm enjoying that so much and I'm being very conscious with my consumption. Why would I need to? But what's happened is that the planning of the beautiful pieces that I've bought, that I know what they're going to be, and the time I've had to make have not been proportionate, So there are some very, very lovely pieces, I don't even know how many because I have not catalogued or counted, that are sitting there that deserve to become the things. So I just thought that if I sign up to Lasso Standing, it might just help with that little bit of shifting my focus back towards what I've already bought and planned to make, rather than, oh, that's nice over there, So I thought, yes, I will do that. I am currently, as everyone is who hasn't bought anything yet in the last couple of days, in heavyweight. Because I have bought quite a few patterns and stuff recently, but I can see that there'll be a time later in the year where there probably will be a pattern that I'll want for some of the fabric that I've already got, and probably a zip and bits and bobs like that. So that's probably going to happen. There's also, I do have a dream of, there's this dress that I've got in my head that I have bought neither the pattern nor the fabric for, but I would really love to make it. So at some point I might consciously drop into independent to fulfill that dream.
Mm-hmm.
But that'll only be when there's an occasion comes up for me actually to make it, because it's quite a special dress. So a little bit later in the year, I'm hoping that something will occur that will give me the opportunity or the excuse to make the dress of my beautiful vision that I've got. So that's where I'm at with that. Yeah.
Love it.
I'm in.
But rather than signing up sort of with lightweight, knowing you'll buy a pattern, or signing up in independent, knowing you will want to make your dream dress, you will wait for those sort of times to come up and
Yeah,
then
I want to see
switch.
how long we can go. Yeah. But I'm not going to I'm not going to feel bad when that happens. But I'm
Yeah,
interested. It's more, and I'm interested to see how far I will get with what I've got. And I just hope there's more time for sewing for me, because at the moment
love
I'm
it.
just making loads of samples in preparation for the Stitch Festival. So it's like, daytime making podcasts and mumming and stuff, and
Yeah.
going working at Fabric Godmother, and in the evenings I'm sewing samples for other people. But when I can claw that time back, it's gonna be the beautiful things that are going to occur.
But it's like you say, especially when we have a little bit less time to sew for ourselves, but we are motivated to sew. It is so much easier, quicker to, get some sewing planning in as opposed to actual sewing.
And the planning can end up in the buying.
And that can end up in the cupboard. And then pretty soon, even though your stash I know is not outrageous, pretty soon, yeah, the piles can like start stacking up again. And you are motivated. You can see the vision. You want these things in your wardrobe now, and not like, yeah, you got distracted and you bought like, 20 different projects worth of stuff now. And yeah, it's going to take you a year basically to get through them, depending on your sewing speed.
Yeah. But I'm excited as well, because I do really enjoy the bit that you don't enjoy, in that I like to see how I can get around some of the, when I don't have the right elastic, or I don't quite have the right zip, and if there is a way around it. And sometimes there isn't. Like when I participated in Last Sew Standing and I did the whole year in heavyweight, I did really run out of a lot of stuff. Like I really did run out of loads of the elastic, loads of the zips, which is great because those resources are now in use. That's not a bad thing, but it means that I'm now coming at it from a depleted situation in terms of the notions kind of side of things.
I love how you just spontaneously signed up with no preparation whatsoever. I did no shopping before the challenge this year. I didn't do any thinking about what I may need, because then I might start buying things. Just jump in and start now, because you probably have a lot of stuff you can just use.
I'm very vibe led. I'm very, very vibe led. Yeah. Chloe said, "Are you going to do it?" Like, vibed. Yes. Yes, I am.
Oh, I love it.
So cool. So let's talk a little bit about our fabric consumption over the last year. So last year, did you manage to get the whole March to end of December without buying fabric?
No, when did my horse die? So first of all, so the last time you and I talked was sometime around last June, when I had come back from Milan. Frogtails Milan led me to go to a fabric store with some sewing friends, which led me to buy some fabric. And yes, the horse was dead. But that horse had been running for 1.5 years at that point. So I didn't really
Very
feel
exhausted.
yeah, and I didn't feel as guilty as I should have, which means I actually had a really bad year. I not only didn't sew as much as I would have wanted to, because I was busy with life. I didn't have like a lack of sojo or anything. And yeah, instead I went happily back to my old fabric buying habits. I mean, really not as bad as in the olden days. I mean, I'm being too harsh
We're
with
not
myself
as bad
here.
as the lockdown era.
I mean, look, you've seen my stash. Now everybody's seen like all of my stash. So yes, I did not go back to my old habits. Like, I will never.
So what did you buy?
But yeah, I went. So in the summer, I went to the US and I went to Britex Fabric and Mood Fabric for the first time. And oh my gosh, it was lovely, you guys. If you're ever in California, just go. And New York also has Mood, but I've never been to that one.
I've been to the Mood one. I went to the Mood one on my honeymoon.
Oh, wow. How romantic.
Yeah, I only bought one thing. Anyway.
So I didn't go crazy either. I bought, I think, 2 lengths of fabric at Britex. One was a shirting, cotton shirting, and the other a linen, because I couldn't afford anything on the ground level floor there.
But did you buy enough for one project, or did you buy the whole bolt?
One generous project when you can't decide if it's going to be a shirt or a shirt dress. Let's say between 3 and 4 yards.
Okay.
Per length, so not too crazy. And then at Mood Fabrics in LA, I similarly bought 2 lengths of fabric, I think, or maybe 3. And it was again shirting fabric / linen. And I didn't even look at the silks or most of the store because I was on a trip with my family, and so I kept it short. And I just wanted to see the store from the inside and like breathe that air and see it. And it's amazing. Like it's just we don't have stores like that here. And so I didn't regret it. I was very happy. Then I went to Ghent. I say Ghent. I don't know if that's how you say it. In Belgium, I went to Belgian Frogtails. And then I went on another fabric shopping trip with my sewing friends. And I again bought like 2 or 3 lengths of fabric in the 2 to 3 meter range. So again, not insane.
Not insane,
it's
but if you're
adding
not,
up at this point.
I'm going to say, if you're not sewing, that's adding up. Yeah.
I mean, where are we now? This is like 4 trips of like in each trip, it's 2 or 3 lengths of fabric. They're between 2 and 4 meters. Like this is already a lot. And in this whole time that we're talking about, I'm sewing maybe 2 or 3 meters of fabric over 1 or 2 months. So I'm still buying more than I'm sewing.
Right. Which is why you're back on the horse, back in the challenge.
Yep.
Yes. Okay, good. Awesome. So fabric was bought. Did you have any regrets about the fabric that you bought over the last year?
No, I actually used a lot of it. I know I just said I didn't sew a lot, but of the fabrics that I bought, I sewed multiple ones that are actually finished projects now and that I'm wearing.
Cool.
I still bought more that I didn't sew yet, but I didn't regret any purchases yet.
Was there not didn't you buy something that was basically made out of plastic?
Yes, but also no regrets, I'm sorry to say.
Fair enough.
May the planet burn because of me.
I did a naughty thing. So towards the end of last year, we scheduled, or was it one of them maybe this year? I can't remember. Anyway, we've had a couple of Check Your Thread patron meetups. We've had 3, actually, in the last few months. It's been amazing. 2 of them were in London, and one of them was in Walthamstow. So Walthamstow is an area of East London, and it's got like a main long street that has market stalls on, and then it also has multiple fabric stores on both sides.
Oh my gosh, sounds lovely.
Most of them are very kind of like pile it high, sell it cheap, kind of suspicious fabric content, fiber content. I don't know what this is or where it's from. And yeah, so it's kind of a bit jumble saley. And then there's some quite a lot of fancy fabrics. It's a really kind of like ethnically diverse area. So there's some, fabrics from different cultures, and to make the clothes, pertaining to different cultures and their celebrations and stuff. So it's super fascinating. And we ended up in one shop which was just ridiculous, like just sort of warehouse of just rolls of fabric. Nothing's labeled. There's no prices, there's no fiber composition or anything. And there was some fabric that I bought, and I knew it was pretty synthetic. I was just like, la la la. I had a vision, like I'd already just recently bought a sewing pattern, and I knew that fabric would look so good in it. I just had this vision. There was like a subtle metallic sheen to it, which is obviously, that's synthetic, that's metal, that's not biodegrading. Sorry, planet. And then I found out it was £2 a meter.
Oh my gosh.
So I think I bought 3 meters for this dress. So I didn't go wild, but yeah. And I was just like, I just couldn't stop saying £2, £2. So it became my catchphrase. So I bought it, and I knew I was naughty. And then I got it home and I pre-washed it, and it basically disintegrated.
Oh no. I thought you were going to say it didn't change like at all. You know what I mean? Like it's so plastic. Could have skipped
the opposite.
It just disintegrated. What did it look like in the machine?
It didn't really disintegrate. It was more that it was quite a loose weave.
Okay.
And something about the washing process I washed it at 40 degrees, which is the kind of cycle that I would wash a finished garment on. So that was my thinking. And then just something about the weave just melted. I don't know, but some sections of it were just kind of crinkly now, and like the texture had changed and the weave pattern didn't look even.
Yeah.
It was a hot mess, and I was so like, oh, I should have known. What I did manage to do was salvage enough to make some sleeves for a dress. I don't know if you saw it on my feed. I'll pop it in the show notes. It was a dress that I made. It was based on the Fabric Godmother Peony dress. And I made the short version, and I had this amazing vintage brocade, also in deeply synthetic, but I bought it, I think, from like maybe a second-hand shop or something years ago, and I'd had it in my stash for a long time. And I got really inspired at Christmas because at the Fabric Godmother Christmas do, Josie, who owns Fabric Godmother, was wearing this amazing peony dress out of this gorgeous kind of golden black brocade that Fabric Godmother was sold. Probably
Nice.
sold out now. It's just, she just looked incredible. It was so stunning, and it was like vintage vibes, and it was really cool. And I was like, oh, I've got that vintage brocade. Mine was silver and black rather than hers was gold and black. Anyway, and I was like, oh, I could create. And because the brocade had quite a good stiffness, it created quite that nice kind of 60s shift kind of shape.
Nice.
But it had because it was really narrow as well, being vintage fabric, super narrow. So I just managed to squeeze out the bodice and the skirt. No pattern matching. There was no room for that. But it kind of looked okay. And so then I drafted a new sleeve for like a kind of a more poofy, almost like bishop sleeve kind of thing. So I redrafted the whole thing to make it kind of the same poof at the top, but then much fuller and billowy, and then gathered with elastic at the wrist.
Sounds lovely.
Thank you. I will, as I say, I'll put a picture of it in the show notes. And the fabric that I bought at Walthamstow Market, I was able to pretty much just harvest enough undamaged section to make the sleeves. And because that was black with a little hint of silver, like it kind of worked well. But to tie it in, because it is a different fabric from the body, I also then drafted like a Peter Pan collar as well that I made out of the sleeve fabric to kind of tie it in a bit more.
Oh my God, I cannot wait to see this. It sounds so dreamy. And also sounds like a perfect Frogtails dress. By the way, just to come back to that, sorry, my mind is very much on Frogtails right now.
I would love to. I would love
sounds
to
amazing.
attend a Frog's Tales. So yeah, so it worked out. But I mean, like out of 3 meters, I got enough for 2 sleeves and a collar. Like not a good ratio.
Yeah.
And the rest has had to go to textile recycling.
For the 3 meters that you bought in the end.
Yeah, not proud of myself. Lessons have been learned. Not buying £2 meter fabric again with unknown provenance and unknown fibre content. And I'm naughty and I'm sorry, and I've learnt my lesson again.
But I mean, is it really a lesson to learn? I mean,
Yes,
I will buy
is.
3 meters of fabric again. You wouldn't buy a swatch at a market like that and then wash it and stuff.
No, but I wouldn't buy a suspicious fabric like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
That cheap. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But thank you for trying to justify it. But it's fine. Lessons have been learned. It's all good. So, but generally, like my fabric consumption, that was the only thing that I regretted over the last year. Everything else was either stuff that I saw at Fabric Godmother that I absolutely fell in love with, or I think I found a couple of pieces in a charity shop, which is quite rare from where I live. There's not much fabric in charity shops, but I did it.
Like actual fabric, not a bigger garment or a bed sheet or yeah, nice. Yeah. And it sounds like you used a lot of what you bought. You may have a bit of a backlog now.
I did. I've definitely, there's a chunk, and I've got a plan for everything.
Nice. Love it.
It's going to happen. So so that's cool. So you keep mentioning Frogtails. You're obsessed. I know that very much building community and being part of the sewing community is something that you super enjoy and is a real big part of your motivation for sewing and connecting via social media and stuff. So tell me about your involvement in Frogtails currently.
Yeah, sorry. I really don't want to be like pushing it and pitching it all the time, but
do it. This is your chance.
I'm in double Frogtails mode right now. On the one hand, I am now getting ready to start sewing for Munich Frogtails. That's happening, I think it's the 14th of March. And again, if you haven't gotten your ticket, sorry, you're too late, because sales will be closed by the time this airs. But I still need an outfit, and I'm leaving in 10 days. So my mind is on that as we're talking about everything else.
Do you have a plan? Do you have fabric and a pattern lined
Yes,
up?
I have 3 plans right now, and I need to decide like pronto, like when we get off the phone, basically, I need to decide. I have one step left in my previous sewing project, which I told myself I need to finish. But then, like this afternoon, I'm sewing my Frogtails outfit, and I haven't decided what it is yet.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Okay, I'm very excited. Are you going to share your plans on Instagram?
Yes, I always share everything or nothing. It
I
will go
love this
either
about
way.
you. Okay, amazing. So that's the Munich Frocktails. What is the other Frocktails that you're involved in?
The next one is about 2 months later, and that will be Swiss Frog Tales. And Swiss Frog Tales is an initiative by Rebecca. Her handle is Gemeine Wildrebe. Good luck with that on Instagram.
I'll put them in the show notes.
And she had the idea, she once in a blog, she was talking about it would be so great if we had a Swiss Frog Tales. So obviously after reading that, I reached out to her and I was, Rebecca, we should do it. And she's like, we should totally do it. And I'm like, I'll do it with you. And anyways, to the, bane of Rebecca, because she's very much an organized person that does things in a dependable way. And yeah, she teamed up with me, and yeah.
And you're a chaos merchant.
Oh God, I feel bad for her sometimes. But for anyone coming to Frogtails, this is going to be great because Rebecca gets shit done. You know what I mean? If I was...
And you're really funny, so it's a dream team.
I mean, hopefully. We did luckily we got Benya on the team as well. What is her handle? Whatever, I'll send it to you later.
Find them and send them to me after this call and I'll put both of them in the show notes.
So she said she'll do some graphic design for us. So yeah, there's a really good like community vibe. Everybody's like offering, do you need help? Do you need... So she was just going to do some graphics, but we've kind of pulled her in. And she's in the organization team now as well. And it's just so cool. We like touch base, obviously not every day, but again and again, like working on things. But also it's just like fun, We're going to put together a party for sewists, and we're just like,
love it.
Yeah,
so
excited.
When are tickets going to be on sale for that?
Oh, it's happening. Yes, our handle is swiss.frogtails on Instagram. We also have an Eventbrite, page. So if you just search Swiss Frogtails, you'll find it. And what is our date? I think it's the 23rd of May. I really should have come a bit better prepared, but it's around the 23rd of May and it's on a boat. So it should be fun and you should come.
Oh my goodness. Oh my God, I would love to.
Okay, Unfortunately, I have to crush everybody's dreams. We did not have enough money for a captain on the boat because, yes, this is a non-profit at cost event, obviously. So
I'm not going, there's no captain. I want to be the captain. You're the captain. What?
We can play captain. We can do the whole Titanic scene at the, helm, or I don't know what it's called.
Oh my God, this is amazing. So where in Switzerland is this?
So it's in Basel, which is where I am based. And we arrived at this. We were like, should it be Bern? Should it be Zurich? Should it be Basel? So we can't afford Zurich. So Zurich was out. And Bern is kind of like, I don't know, an extra hour of travel time for anyone coming from like the south of Germany or something. Because we're very much hoping that we'll also get people from nearby France and Germany to come as well. And so we were like, Basel's good. We can, afford it. We know our way around here because I'm from here. Rebecca used to live here. Benya works here and lives just outside of Basel. And so, yeah, that's how we arrived here. And it's a cool city. For those that don't know, geographically, we border France and Germany. And the venue where the boat is docked is actually, it's in viewing distance of the place where the 3 countries intersect.
Oh my God, that's so cool.
We're going to take some selfies there and,
I love it.
I think it's cool. And for me, a little bit, I don't know, almost in a mushy, kitschy, symbolic way, stands for like the sewing community. And like, we transcend borders with our hobby. And when we go to these in-person events, it's people that are from different ages, different backgrounds, but there's something that connects all of us. And it's just Yeah, I've been to 2 Frogtails last year, and it's like the vibe is different than any other social gathering. You're there to support and celebrate each other. Nobody's judging each other. And I don't know, it's just wonderful. So, for anyone who's on the fence or feeling shy, a lot of Soists are introverts, and I can say that of like our organizing team too. We're all three introverts, and still, this is like we want to connect. So it's a different kind of connecting than because yeah, you're just like from the same tribe.
Absolutely. This is what I'm feeling about the recent Check Your Thread patron meetups that we've had. Like, I've had 3 in the last few months, and every single one of them has been so nice, and everyone has been so lovely. And you're right, there's people there that are like, they're a bit more outgoing, and there's people there that are like, maybe they really had to kind of push themselves because it was feeling a bit like, oh, I don't know anyone. But like within 5 minutes, everyone's talking, everyone's like, blah, blah, blah. Tell me about your bag, tell me about your top. Did you knit that cardigan? I needed a coffee, blah, 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 blah. and it's just the best. It's never not awesome,
Exactly.
in my opinion.
And meeting sewing friends from the social media realm in real life can be a little bit, but it can be a little bit daunting before, like, what, I'm just gonna go there, like, isn't it gonna be weird? But I'm telling you, like, but like for those that haven't gone, if you go to any of these socials or something, it doesn't feel like you're meeting a new person because you've maybe already seen some of them online. So it's really like finally meeting an old friend, even if you think you're not actually at that level yet. I'm telling you, you are.
Yeah, and I think that's it. I think even if you haven't followed each other on Instagram for ages or something, I think there's something about the fact that you're both into this thing and you're both of a similar mindset. It kind of, it gets you quicker, doesn't it, to I don't want to say intimacy, but a level of connection that it just gets you there quicker, and it just feels really nourishing, I think.
And of course, you can't have that with all of your 400 or 14,000 or however many followers you may have. You can't have that connection. And I kind of really dislike that term. What is the term, anyways? I forget the social media relationship that's
Oh,
fake.
yes.
I don't know.
Parasocial relationship.
Yes, but my point is, then instead of para, like, make it real, like make it real social, because that's where it's at.
So much, I know. I was really lucky that I got to meet a number of patrons and listeners of the podcast over that last week where I was doing my tour of the North. And then last night I hosted a mending meetup for Check Your Thread patrons, and there was a bunch of them on there that, like, I've met you in real life now, and it was so nice just to have that. Oh yeah, I know what you're like in real life. You're 3D. I love it so much. It's so nice.
It's so nice, and I can really just encourage anyone to, like, see what's around you, and if there's nothing, just do it. Just do your own thing. It doesn't need to be.
Yeah, organize a little sewing swap or fabric swap or something.
It doesn't need to be a Frogtails right away. There's what's her name? Alexandria Arnold. I don't know if I'm saying her name. I call her Alexandria, like a Greek goddess. She's in London. She does a knit night now once a month. She just like started it out of nothing and is doing it now. Like, if you're not doing a thing and there's nothing around you, like, start your own thing, and it can just be like informal. They just meet at a pub I don't even know if it's every month, but it can be informal. And yeah, if you're like, I don't know if I want to go to someone's thing, if I'm ready for a Frogtails, maybe you're, ready for a smaller thing.
Yeah, maybe have half a pint down the pub with some knitting.
Yeah, I mean, who
and
wouldn't
then
love
build
that?
up to a Frogtails. I know, totally. So, of course, like, organizing and promoting these events, they require quite a lot of time spent on social media. But you recently took quite a chunk of time off of social media, didn't you? So how long was your break for, roughly?
I don't even know, because it wasn't a planned conscious break. As you know,
But it was a period of months rather than weeks or days.
I would say so. I would say, like, from some time in November, maybe end of November, until like maybe mid-January, I was just gone. And even before that, I would say that this year I did the least engagement and sort of active hosting of the challenge. And I would just be like gone for several weeks and then pop up again randomly. Maybe because it was like, I don't know, Black Friday weekend. So I was like there for support and then gone again. And it wasn't planned. It was because my life got busy. I didn't have the time to now also be on Instagram. I also didn't have time to sew, which was honestly heartbreaking for me and everyone around me. I get very like unbearable if I don't have like crafting time. But yeah, I just didn't have the time, and then I didn't make any big announcements. And when I came back, I didn't make big explanations or excuses because, yeah, I mean, everybody's free to share whatever. I'm a bit of an oversharer myself. But oh, come on, nobody's interested in your like, life explanations. And I just felt like coming, I had the time again to come back and jumped right back into it. And nobody gave me a bad time for it.
No.
Maybe the algorithm didn't like it, but who cares,
Do you know what's interesting? I think because this is something that we've been talking about on the podcast a fair bit recently, like this idea of stepping back from social media, from banning yourself from it or limiting your time in some sort of structured way. I mean, I was talking to Haley Jane and we were talking about the different tools you can use. And off the back of that, I've now set a timer limit on my own Instagram and the other app that I use the most to kind of set like a limit for those. So there is ways to do it really consciously, and that's kind of what we were talking about before, talking about the benefits and ways that you can kind of implement that. But then I think this is really interesting that the way that it came for you, like literally simply, it was because you didn't have the time. And it doesn't need to be necessarily like a big thing. Like you don't need to necessarily create this structure and this plan around how I'm going to be using my time in a different way. It can be, and that can really work for people doing it in a very conscious way. But also, like, yeah, you can just vibe it and see, and it sounds like that really worked for you.
I mean, I think other people have also a different approach towards social media. I like that it's there for me when I have time for it, but I don't see it as a chore, like the challenge. Like, I come in a hype when I have the time, but I don't feel like I need to put in a certain amount of hours per week or something. Other people for their business may actually have to. I don't think for check your thread, you can just be like, all right, sorry, I was gone for 2 weeks, 2 months, or whatever. And so, yeah, those are constraints. And other people, I know that social media is a problem also in our society. It can lead to addiction. It can lead to a sense of, where you don't have like, I don't know, a good sense of self anymore, or your confidence is affected. And I don't know, I don't want to be all like on my high horse, but I don't think I suffer from that. I really don't give a shit. And I may have addictive traits that I spend too much time on it when I do have time for it. But, it doesn't, I don't know, constrain me in my life. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So for people that do feel like it's overtaking their life or not good for their confidence or something, I very much do think that these tools may be very beneficial. It's just I didn't need it at the time, or I didn't drop off of social media because of it. But I do want to say, for all this stuff, like maybe you connected with Sois on Instagram and you don't want to drop off because you don't want to lose that connection. And I never lost that connection. I just use it more like a DM messaging machine in those times where I may be off Instagram, and I ignore the feed, but I still connect.
So you do pop on and respond to DMs and talk to your friends.
I mean, honestly, mostly just like with my 2, 3, because like with the challenge and everything, I then have like 30, 40, soon 100 missed messages, and then I just ignore those. Sorry for anyone hearing this and feeling like, oh my gosh, she ignored my message, but you already noticed that, and I'll see your message when you write to me next time. You know what I mean? I don't feel like I have to go through that because, yeah, it's probably not.
That's interesting. So, so it might be that you choose not to engage with the feed, you choose not to post, but you can still, choose to connect with the people that you have been regularly connecting with through the messaging part of it. That's another point that we didn't make before, so that's really interesting.
Right. And also, like, if you, like me, have been part, and you have been part of the online sewing community for a long time, chances are at this point you've exchanged maybe a phone number or email address, or you have another way of connecting. And so, yeah, I encourage anyone to like take your Instagram or social media connection offline, whether it's a sewing event or just communicating. Like, you can just do a Zoom call between, two sewing buddies. It doesn't always have to be a public event.
Yeah, absolutely.
Some other sewing friends of mine, and I know them from the Munich sewing retreat, and they just now had a weekend, 4 of them in a like little vacation cottage that one of them has. And oh my gosh, it looked like such a nice little retreat. And anybody can do that, I mean, with the means and the time. I have one friend in the Netherlands, 2 in Munich, and we do the same thing yearly. I think we did it for the 5th or 6th time this year.
Oh,
and
amazing.
yeah, like you said, you have to work out where, you have to have the time. Maybe you have to have your dogs or cats or kids taken care of during that time. It's not always easy to get 3 or 4 adult people with different schedules together. And, let's face it, it's not free either. You're going to spend money getting there. You're going to spend money on accommodation. But if you're anything like us, you're not going to leave the place. You're going to just do charcuterie. I think the first year we went to a restaurant and did one outing. And then after that, we're like, no, we're not doing any of that anymore.
I love it. Yeah, I just want to mainly eat crisps.
Yeah.
Maybe drink tea, then wine. And no other liquids will pass my lips.
I mean, one of my friends, she's always on the margarita, mixing, we put her on that. We have charcuterie with that. We do one hot meal. Someone makes pasta with pesto once during the extended weekend. But we just sit, we sew, we chat. Some of us sew a lot. They come with 20 projects cut out and are sitting there twiddling their thumbs toward the end. Others, barely make it to the sewing machine on the last day. But yeah, it's just great. And we always come back reinvigorated and we had to make time for it, but it gives us more energy to come back to our regular lives, which can sometimes be taxing.
Yes, I love this so much. Okay, I've taken a big old chunk of your morning. Thank you so much. Let's do this again. Basically.
It was awesome talking to you, like always. I hope you go into the challenge with a lot of energy, and I hope everybody goes into the spring or fall, if you're in the, other hemisphere, with a lot of spring in their step.
Yeah, amazing. Thank you. I'll speak to you soon. Take care.
Bye, Zoe. Bye.
Thanks so much for listening. I really hope you enjoyed this episode and are left feeling inspired. For more info about the podcast, including show notes for this and every episode, head to checkyourthread.com. I'd love to hear from you, so if you have any comments, questions or ideas for future episodes, please get in touch by emailing zoe@checkyourthread.com or find me on Instagram @checkyourthread. Massive thanks to Patrick Potter for production support, to Sylvia Seller for the awesome logo design, and to Simon at Palm Skin Productions for the music. This ad-free podcast would not be possible without listener support, so if you feel you are able, please consider signing up to the Check Your Thread Patreon. For the equivalent of buying me a coffee each month, you'll be making it possible to continue producing regular episodes. Links can be found in the show notes and on the website checkyourthread.com. I hope you'll listen again next week. Until then, take care. Bye!